Hi guys, Demon Ferret here, and today we're going to be talking about Google. And some of you might be wondering, why are we talking about Google? It's a search engine. That's a very good question. Why are we talking about a search engine? We're talking about a search engine because people like to credit Google as a source, and it's not. And we're going to be talking about that today. Now, this is going to be mostly a reference to crediting Google as a source for art. And this could also apply to a chart or a graph or anything. Really anything. Google just isn't a source. So this is going to be in 3 segments. First, I'm going to address some basic claims and explain, even sometimes briefly, why they're wrong. And the only reason why an explanation will be brief is if I explain it in depth later. The second part will be explaining in very basic terms how Google works. And the last part, we will be switching over to the computer and I will be showing you how to properly use Google, which is something you should already know, but apparently a lot of people don't know it. So I'm going to show you how. So first, let's start with part 1. So there are some very basic claims that you always see with people who try to defend using Google as a source. And the first one's typically, everything on Google is free. No, it's not. Google is a search engine. Now, when we're talking about Google Images, what that means is that it's a database of images from multiple sources. Google itself is not a direct source. I will explain how that works later. So, no. Everything on Google is not free. Everything doesn't belong to Google. In addition to this, everything on Google isn't free because Google even states itself that any image that they post in their database is subject to the copyright of the original poster. In the computer segment, I will show you this, and I'll show you where it says this. The second biggest one I get is, why did the artist put their work on Google in the first place if they didn't want it to be shared? Again, I'll be explaining this in a bit, but no one chooses to have their stuff searchable on Google. It doesn't work that way. And I'll explain why. But I'll leave it at that. We don't choose this. And this is typically followed up by the next one. If they didn't want their art shared, it shouldn't have been put on the internet at all. Oh, this one. This one goes into the validity of copyright law, which is not the subject for today. And I don't want to go into that. Oh God, no. If you are one of the people who believe this, get your head out of your ass. The validity of copyright law cannot be usurped because you wanted to use something without permission. There are laws in place for creators to protect their work on an online or digital medium. So, you really can't say anything. If an artist wants to post their work online, they can do that. And you don't have the right to do what you want with it just because they did that. So those are the really big ones. If you have any more that you've seen, post them in the comments and I'll give you my response to it. So let's just jump into how Google works, because a lot of these questions will be answered with the basic explanation of how Google works in the first place. Now, apparently, since I've been taught this, the terminology has changed a little bit. I'm going to be using the terminology that I was taught, but just be warned, some of my terminology may be a little outdated, but it doesn't actually matter. The system still works the same way. Some things might just be called different things. They may have been given different names. So, Google is a search engine. Google Images is also just a search engine. And the way that these search engines work, and Google didn't really invent this, but the way that they work is that these little programs called spiders go all around the interwebs and find things all over the place. And they make this database that's bigger than you can ever imagine. And based on what the websites have, they start giving each thing keywords. And then eventually, and this process can take months, eventually the spider starts sorting things into keywords. And these are the keywords you can use in Boolean searches to be able to get the result you want. Google Images works the exact same way. The spiders find an image, they scour the web page that image is on for keywords, which is why if you look up pumpkin, you might find a picture of a dog, because on that article of a dog, the word pumpkin might actually be there. So the spider sees that association, and it's not smart enough to realize that that dog's not a pumpkin. It's a program, not a brain. So, it will take these keywords, associate with the image, and then you can search for it, and it will bring up those results. Now, they've gotten a little bit more sophisticated with this, and I'll show you this in the computer demonstration, where the spiders are now able to detect, as much as they can, the usage rights of images. Now, this is supplemented by individuals, human beings, telling Google, the human beings at Google, whether or not the information that the spiders collected is correct or incorrect. And Google, like Wikipedia, kind of just has to take their word for it. Again, I'll show you this in the computer part. So even if something says it's free to use, it might not be. You can't trust it 100%. So, this is how Google works. It picks things out, gives them labels, and then allows you to find them using the labels it assigns. It does not go find a picture, say, this would look great on Google. It doesn't work that way. It finds anything and everything. Anything it can access, it puts on there. Because it's a search engine. And we have no control over what gets put where. So, that's basically how Google works. And just by this alone, it should be very clear that Google cannot be used as a source of credit. Spiders finding images and putting them in a database is not credit. The spiders didn't make the image. They're programs to find things and put them in a concise place. That's it. Crickets. You done? Anyway, the spiders didn't make the image. The spiders just saw the image, gave it some keywords, and slapped it on there. That's it. That is literally it. That's all Google does. That's all any search engine does. Google, Yahoo, Bing, all of them. They're the same. Crickets. You can't win. Well, meet my co-host, Chirping Cricket. Anyway, so now let's go to the computer segment where I'll show you how to actually use Google and where Google blatantly states that it has nothing to do with citing or copyright or liability.
Okay, and now here we are in the practical part of the video where I'm going to actually show you how to use Google, which is something you should already know, as I have said. So first, we need something to search. I'm going to look up popcorn, because why not? And so we need this to do its thing. Okay, here we go. Now, I don't have any ads here. Okay, let's try something other than popcorn. Because I want to show something first. Let's try a nightstand. Stand. If I can type. Nightstand. Okay, again, not there. Okay, fine. I'm gonna do something I know works. Okay! So now that I looked up Amazon, as you can see, what I was talking about, no, just that, this, right here, this whole thing, this indicates that Amazon went to Google and said, hey, I want to pay you to put me at the top of a search with this keyword, or these keywords, or whatever. So, when you see this, this indicates that someone paid for something to be put on Google, or, you know, to be featured, essentially. This is the only way, currently, to do that. That's it. Creators, otherwise, don't choose whether or not to be here. They just are. So let's go back to popcorn, because I like that one. Popcorn. Hey. I figured that maybe I would get like some sort of Walmart entry up here, but I didn't, unfortunately. Yeah, there's no ad for popcorn. So, someone take popcorn. It hasn't been taken yet, I guess. Alright, now we're gonna go to images. And some of these are gonna be linked to sales, and desktop doesn't do that. It doesn't immediately label something being connected to a sales post. Or actually, I don't think... Okay, no. Desktop doesn't do it at all. They don't link you to sales posts on image. They only go to shopping. Now, on mobile, you'll sometimes see an image where it says sale at the bottom, like, you know, this says the pixel size. You may see that it says sale on the bottom or for sale, whatever. That indicates that the image is for an advertisement that links to a sale post that's somewhere. Again, just because it's a sale post doesn't mean that person had any choice of that sale post being there. They just decided to sell popcorn, say on eBay or something, I don't know, and then that listing got put onto the database through the spiders, and then etc, 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 as I've already explained. So, need a drink. Okay, so now I'm going to click on an image. And this is where the really important thing comes in. Now, you have up here the website, the article name, the website, the pixel size. You can search by the image, and then like the beginning of the description by the website. But now, if you're on mobile, it's going to be right here. If you're on desktop, which I'm on right now, it's down here. Images may be subject to copyright. This is the most important phrase here. What this means, for anyone who has no reading comprehension and can't figure out what this means that whatever the copyright is for this image, the copyright holder's rules for this image, whatever they may be, apply to that image. Google does not have those rules or regulations. It doesn't know what they are. It cannot know what they are. And to further this, if you look up Google image copyright, the first or second result will be for Google support. Yay, Google support. And it's going to give you instructions. I'm going to show you how to do this, so don't bother reading all this. Just bother reading this paragraph. Before reusing content, make sure that its license is legitimate and check the exact terms of reuse. For example, the license might require that you give credit to the image creator when you use the image. Google can't tell if the license label is legitimate, so we don't know if the content is lawfully licensed. What this means is that if an image is on Google, and they label it as free to use, that's because the image that they have was labeled free to use. But the person who labeled it that way might not be the owner of the image, and the owner of the image might not have it be a free to use image. So they're telling you, cover your tracks. Make sure that you double check what you use before you use it. Again, this is admission of no liability for Google itself. They're basically saying, we don't know the copyrights, that's your job. Again, Google is not credit. It cannot be. Even Google knows it's not. So, how do you find images where you can safely say, to some degree, that you can use the image? And this is where things get a little shaky. Again, like even Google said, you should always double check what you find. But we're just still going to look for images of popcorn. So, what we need is... Wait a minute. Okay, they put it here. So, on some, it depends on what you're using. Again, mobile has a different layout, so you're going to have to find it. You're going to want to find advanced search. Click on that. Now, we have advanced image search. So, you can search by size ratio, which is always fun, especially if you're an artist and you need a size to be a specific image. I mean, oh my god, I can't believe I just said that. An image to be a specific size. Wow. I mean, I'm dyslexic, but that was bad. Anyway, aspect ratio, blah, blah, blah. Then we have type of image, which is, you know, all this fun stuff. So if you just want clip art or, you know, etc. Now, look at this thing on the bottom. This. Look at this. So we have some options here. Free to use even for commercial, which means you can use it for something that you're selling. Free to use and manipulate. Free to use, manipulate, and then sell. These are going to be the rarest to find, and if you think that you found an image, like, okay, let's do this. Alright, so now all of these images of popcorn, you see that our results have changed dramatically. I don't think any of these images were on that first page of popcorn images. I don't think a single one. These are all images that I can take, change, and then sell, and it's totally legal. But I still should go and visit the website and check. Free for commercial use. No attribution. It is legitimate. I can use this, manipulate it, and sell it. And it tells me that right here. Do you see how long that took me to do? Sorry about that, guys. That was probably loud. Do you see how long that took me to do? why is this hard? This is not hard. So, let's say that you wanted to make a image of your persona. And your persona is a wolf. And we still have Leo for reuse with modification. Yes. They have different terms here for some reason, but non-commercial use means you cannot sell it, so these would be for commercial use. Looks like someone already got to that one. Anywho, so if you want to manipulate an image to be your persona and it be totally okay, be a perfectly okay stock photo, here's a good image. It's a wolf. It's a nice pose. Visit this. Just taking a moment. Needs to think. Okay. Click on that. Look over here. Creative Commons. Free for commercial use. No attribution required. Do you see how easy this is? Are you getting this? So now, if you take this image and recolor it, you can post it wherever you want. Now, it's still good to cite the website where you got it, and even though it's not technically necessary, it's still good to do, simply for the reason that someone else can check to see that if you say that it's legal for you to do what you did, that you're right, and other people can confirm that you're right. So, I still say that you should credit your sources, simply so that people don't jump down your throat. But this is how you go about finding images to manipulate, if that's the way you want to go down. If you're not an artist and you just want an idea to give to other artists to help you get art, this is the best way. And this is completely okay to do. These images on Google are free to use, but you have to tell Google that's what you're looking for. Inherently, none of these are necessarily going to be free to use. If I just click on this, it's National Geographic. I can't use that. Okay? National Geographic owns this, and they're not free to use. National Geographic never gives images free to use. Again, images may be subject to copyright. This is extremely important. Copyright law is not just something that people made up to, as a joke. Now, yes, some of those free to use images happen to be some of the first searches. However, you don't know that. And you didn't know that until I showed you. So you could just randomly click this, click visit, and then see blah da da da, and then see, oh hey, I can use this. But you wouldn't have known that beforehand. And that's what makes not checking dangerous, and not refining your searches dangerous. So that's how you properly use Google. You always refine your search. Always. Always, always, always. And also safe search if you want it, blah, blah, blah. But that's how you do things. It's easy, it's simple, and it's fast. Because a lot of people make the same complaint. It takes too long to find the image or credit or blah, blah, blah. Once you click on an image to use it, it's right there. It's right there. Just, how hard is that? Is it really that difficult for all of you to click a button? Because if it is, I give up. I give up. So, that's how you use Google, guys. This is taking a while to load. My internet's not working. But that's how Google works. And hopefully you guys will be able to use it more efficiently now. Again, I really don't know how a lot of people don't know how to do this. Most people should be taught this in high school. I was, and all the standard schools around here teach people how to do this. So I really don't get it. Unless people are they really don't pay attention in school. And if that's the case, pay more attention in school. It's a good thing. But I mean, what are you gonna do? So let's get back to the other part of the video.
I hope that was informative. Now, I know that I got pretty sarcastic, but, there's a reason why. I'm tired of this. I'm tired of explaining this. I'm tired of this being a problem. I'm sick of people honestly believing that something that is so automated is valid for the credit of copyright. That's not okay. And, frankly, you should have learned this. I mean, I learned all of this when I was in high school. All of it. And I know, at least in my school system, now everyone's learning it in middle school, not high school. I learned it in high school. There's no reason not to know this. Not in this day and age. There's no reason. So, hopefully, now you know how Google works a bit better. And if you're someone who's been using Google as credit, I hope you realize now why you were wrong. Because it is wrong. And as I showed you, it's so easy. It only takes a couple seconds to find out who actually made the image, what the rights are, and all that fun stuff. So, there's not much more I can say. I hope you learned something. And let's all hope that eventually the whole Google is credit craze will die. I'll see you guys later. Bye!